Hello everybody and welcome to the final video in this series. Going to be taking a look at Indonesia. Possibly the most interesting map of the set so far. It loads in on the Borneo picture set and indeed has the same tile set. And it starts with the saloon just like Borneo, with trees that you'd find and also animals and of course a very similar herd as well. Which is just off the screen. I guess, no, there he is. There he is, the lone Cerro. So, Interjection. What is so exciting? Oh! Almost gathered up my 3 gold crates. What is so exciting about a clone of Borneo? Well, you start with extra coin crates. That's certainly interesting. You get between 1 and 3 extra coin crates, I do believe. But that is not why this map is interesting. Let me show you. All we have to do is scroll up a bit. Here he is. And you're like, well, alright, but what's so special about that? Let's take a look. It's basically Honshu. We've been pushing for it in every Smackdown, or at least I have, except it's a playable version of Honshu. We have islands around the map where there are additional resources, which very much could come into play. I absolutely fundamentally believe that. And the catamaran is obviously a transport there. Imagine like hopping over to the island to pick up your 80 coin. Maybe you're like scouting the map. You know, you can get it close enough to the shore. You see like 80 coin or I don't know, 60 food. I believe there's a 90 wood treasure that does spawn somewhere. There it is. Maybe that spawns on the island. You hop your explorer in there. Of course, you might want to pick up these yaks as well. But yes, it is a water map. It is a bit like Honshu. I'm very excited for this one. And it's going to be fun. Oh, you even get Old Doug the orangutan. 200 food. I didn't realize this until very recently. This was a, basically, was it a privateer? One of those giant caravel ships that you pay for as a shipment. Originally we intended, or Garja intended, I mean I had nothing to do with it, Garja intended for a galleon. And that'd be super cool, right? Imagine a galleon, like you could just like roam it around. And then, like, a backdoor, train cheeky 5 hussars at your galleon just here, and then send them off. But in the end, it couldn't be a galleon, really, because not every civ gets a galleon or an equivalent. I believe India and China do not have boats that can train units. So it wasn't a galleon. In the end, we went with the whole sail-on thing. But still, similar thing. I mean, Old Doug, he's not bad, actually. He has a hand attack of 20 in the Discovery Age, which isn't very good, but that is times 3 versus Treasure Guardians. Maybe you somehow have 200 spare food, and you're like, you know what? I'm playing as the Dutch. I've got a ton of extra coin. I'm gonna build me an Old Doug, and you can pick up some monstrous treasures, perhaps. When you age up, that attack and hit points also increases on the Old Doug. It goes up to 24, I believe, in the Colonial, and 30 attack in the Fortress Age with the same stats, essentially just a bit less than a Hussar, but it is objectively better than a Hussar, I would say, because it costs nothing but food, which is of course the fastest gathering resource that almost every civ upgrades with steel traps, and there is an absolute abundance of hunt on this map, and food generally. I mean, there is certainly... your starting hunt is elephant, for goodness sake, which is absolutely insane, not something you see very often. Keeps it refreshing. You do got berries, and there is an absolute abundance of hunt. So I mean, and fish as well. It is a fishing map. But what's so interesting then about Borneo with this? There is more to it, I would say. I mean, yes, it's heavily incentivizing you to fish. This is the first full-on water map that Garja has, actually made. That is definitely true, and it's perhaps uncharacteristic of them. But it's also very, you can play a land-based agenda. I have absolutely no doubt about that. I mean, yes, there's a lot of food, so you're like, well, maybe you can't really map control if there's a lot of food. You don't have very much coin though, and that's the fun thing. But you have a gold mine in your base. Nope, looks deceiving. This is a copper mine, only 2,000 coin, and there is not very many of these. You have one in your base, one quite far away from your base, and that's your only sort of starting coin. Each player gets 2 on their side of the map, and then the other 2, well, there's only 2 in the middle, and they are gold mines, so, controlling the middle of the map for coin is quite important, because there's 2.5, basically 2.5 mines worth of gold in each of these. And earlier I said that the sort of islands might come into play, and that's why I do believe that. There's not a lot of coin. If you're going to be fishing, you might have to go and end up here and collect coin before you can, really get enough coin to start gathering from the whales. Ooh, there's Wow, 275 food. Oh, well, there's no way you're going to kill that in the early game. That catamaran certainly isn't. I thought maybe you could pick up some sneaky water treasures. That was definitely possible with the privateer, but not so much with your catamaran. Probably for the best, because we saw some weird stuff like, you know, your offshore boat just like shooting at your enemy villages and things, or even, you know, killing off treasure guardians on the coast. Yeah, it was kind of cool, but equally probably not what was intended or is healthy for the game, so to speak. But yes, what else is interesting? It's not just a Borneo clone with islands. It does have some interesting features. You see these sort of patches of cliffs that spawn directly above or below your town center, depending on where you start. And what's so interesting about this is aesthetically pleasing. It looks nice. It's cool. Like, it's, yeah. And not only is it cool, but it adds to, you could wall this off if you are going for a fishing agenda. Maybe you do want to like build a wall from here to the water or something like that. You know, it stops any raids coming in on this side of the map, and you have complete access to this side. The only way they'll really be coming in is, you know, on the side of your base, which really you might be able to like forward, you know, or if either forward base there in the middle or something, or perhaps even, you know, just defend it. So certainly can do that. Let's take a look at the hunt and mine distribution. Well, I said there's a lot of hunt. Exactly how many are there? Well, I will tell you. Let's have a look at my notes. That's not it. Bear with me, I'm just going to have to reload them up. Dum-de-dum. I thought I had them ready. Apparently I closed the tab. Alright, you have exactly... there is exactly 9 Sero herds, 8 patches of berries. There's 8 of these around the map. And as I said, you know, two copper mines plus 1 on each island, so I guess that's, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in total, plus the 2 gold mines. A lot of fish, a lot of trees, 10 whales in total. So, you know, that's by no means, well, there's still enough whales, I guess. And finally, the treasure distribution is 90 wood. Well, let's just take a look around, I guess. 40 wood, 55 XP. 35 wood. Old Doug not looking quite so useful here. 65 coin. You know, the sort of treasures you would find on, I guess, Borneo. But, and some yaks. That's me done on this. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and do so the man Garja some love. Very happy to see this tournament map pool expanding. And, oh, we have the Sufi and the Juice. Oh, I better go over those. Whoops. Alright, let's do that real quick. Okay, so... we have the Jesuit, Juice, yes. You know, fairly expensive upgrade, but an absolutely brilliant one. 30% siege damage for, siege damage, okay, perhaps not so good. Maybe it'll be useful super late game. If it was just regular damage, that would be insane. Settlers train 15% quicker. When I initially looked over this, I thought, actually, that's really good. But then you do have to spend 200 wood on a trading site. But, you know, again, if there was perhaps one day a map that where you start with a native trading village, this could be pretty cool. Might see some interesting Christian school builds. 20% to building hit points. Not so good. Unlikely to see play until super late game. You're going to be able to spend 250 wooden coin on stuff that will give you a much bigger advantage early on than, say, 20% HP. And then, of course, the standard upgrades for the guy. Where is he? Interestingly enough, the Conquistador, the only cavalry unit, in fact, the only unit that isn't a falconet or a cannon that costs wooden coin. It's actually got good stats. 17 range damage with the same multipliers as a Dragoon, with, you know, fairly low hit points, which is sort of what you want from a counter unit like a Dragoon. But it just costs so much. It costs 80 wood and 70 coin. No, not even food, the fast gathering resource. It costs it's just never going to see play, which is a shame. The other one was, we have the Sufi Temple. 100 food and 100 wood gives you 1 fattened goat for every 2 minutes of the game that has passed. That could be pretty interesting, if I do say so myself, because maybe around that 30-minute mark, the fighting shifts from the islands. Well, it wouldn't really be on the islands, unless that's where the last remaining patch of coin was. It shifts to these settlements, the Sufi Moss. Maybe you want that and deny your opponent the other one, so he can't get his fully fattened goats. 30 minutes, you know, if it's still going, that's a lot of goats. Definitely could be something that happens. Worth bearing in mind at that top level. 100 food and 100 coin increases villager gather rates while giving them lower hit points. I'm not exactly how sure much that is. I can't really check either due to the recording software I'm using at the moment. I can't pause, but could be interesting, especially if it includes fishing ships. And the final upgrade, fairly expensive, but increases villager gather limit. If you're at max, I don't know if that'll necessarily ever see play, because you very, very rarely get to max villagers, especially on a water map where you have tons of fishing ships as well. You might not really be too interested in increasing it. You might not need any more villagers by that point, but can see play in that super, super late game, I suppose. Though usually games are concluded before then. Their unique unit is indeed the, well, War Elephant. Similar to a Mahout Lancer, but just weaker and cheaper. It's actually not bad considering it costs mostly food. But you do have to take into account, 425 hit points on a unit that costs almost 300 resources is questionable. And it's by no means the strongest one either. Melee damage of only 20 is by no means very much. And an area effect of 2. Which is, basically they're like cuirassiers then, I suppose, but not quite as cost-effective, perhaps. But then, having said that, cuirassiers cost 300 resources, but they don't cost a lot. Actually, maybe, well, it's still got 10 less attack damage. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. I'll try and finish properly now. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Show guys some love. My name's Interjection, and I'll see you all again next time.